Hi there. Welcome. Welcome to the house where I haven't wanted to work all week. Ask Mike. I've done everything to avoid doing anything of value.
Welcome to my life. Joking. Just joking.
No, I've been bad. You know, you go through phases where you're motivated and phases where you're not. And right now, not motivated. I'm going to blame my hip flexor, which is causing back pain.
Well, Switzerland.
Ah, Switzerland. And I heard it's Pam's birthday, Pam out there. Happy birthday, Pam. Okay, can you get to Lila, please? Thank you. Okay. Hello. Yes, welcome. I'm so glad you're all here. From Italy, I'm going to be in Italy on Tuesday. I'm going to Venice on Tuesday. Welcome. Hi, Betsy. Welcome. Yes, it is. I misread that message. Yeah, it's hot everywhere. It's really hot and miserable here. It's humid. It's literally when you walk outside, it feels like you're walking into a sauna. It's just awful. Awful, awful. Yes, I go on vacation. Diana's here and Betsy's here. I'm going on vacation next week with the two of them and a few others to Italy, and I'm excited. Welcome. Yes, I haven't wanted to work. I don't know. You think that knowing you're going to be taking some time off that you would be motivated, but it's not going that way. Okay. Hello, Anna. Okay, so today I know a lot of people had the day off, not me, because I didn't work much this week. I had to work all day today. And I wanted to do a live. I try to do lives when a lot of people are off work because it's something that you all can enjoy. And hopefully you're getting a little rest and relaxation today. So I'm here to craft along with you. So anyway, I have many things planned here today. I don't know how many I'll get through. I'm still having those pains and standing here doing this. Sometimes this isn't easy. I have a TENS unit hooked up to me, so I'm hoping that helps. But we'll see how it goes. Last live I was worse and I made it, so we'll see. But who knows? But today I have a variety of things set up for you. I will be using Pinkfresh today. The reason I'm using Pinkfresh today is I had a few ideas of some techniques I wanted to do, and it worked well with some of their products. And Pinkfresh told me they would do a 20% off site-wide because I'm going live today. So Mike, do you mind showing the image? There you go. So Pinkfresh is offering 20% off site-wide, and you get 2 free blending brushes. So you get a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch blending brush. This is their new, they've modified their 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch blending brushes. They have smaller little bristles now. I really like them. I used them in a live recently. I'll use them today. And you get 1 of each of the brushes to try out. So this is a great offer. You need to use my code and use my link below in the YouTube description. All of that is under special offers in the YouTube description. This does exclude the new category and gift cards, and it excludes inks. But the reason it excludes like inks and reinkers and all that is those are already 25% off, okay? Yeah, Pinkfresh is, I've talked about them many times. Mike, can you come back here? One of the things I like about Pinkfresh is they're very upfront and let you know about changes that are happening. For example, they told us in the fall that they were going to be redoing their ink line, and they gave us far warning so that if you wanted to complete the line or get reinkers, you would have time. And they're still they had still restocked those so you could get them. One of the recently, Kinnery from Pinkfresh, she told me that they have to do a price increase. I think it's their first price increase in like 12 years, and it's coming in a few weeks. It's not something they want to do. All companies are having to do it. They've already done it or they will be doing it. And Pinkfresh wanted to do a big sale now before they have to increase their prices. So it's 20% off. That's fantastic. So 20% off everything except new inks, and gift cards, but the inks are 25% off. Okay, all that's in my description below. And you get the 2 free brushes. Mike, there's another one for Pinkfresh, right?
This one?
Yes. So this is a free die and stencil when you buy the press plate. So if you buy the Modern Botanicals press plate, then you get that stencil and die that coordinate with it for free. So that's a huge value, right? You only pay for the press plate and you get the layering stencils and the dies for free. And that is through July 9th. So those are the offers over at Pinkfresh. They also have a bunch of clearance items too. So a lot happening there. I appreciate how upfront they are and their generosity, and I'm excited to use their products again today. There you go. Pinkfresh said, we will also announce it officially when you're getting first dibs for watching this live. Yeah, they saved the sale to announce here on my live, which I appreciate. Some folks have asked, when do their new inks come out? Their new inks will come out later this summer, hopefully. The reason that they're redoing their ink line is if a company wants to have inks and cardstocks that match, it's best to pick out the cardstock colors first and then do the inks to match it. And they have their inks now. So what they'll do is retire these. They'll come out with cardstocks and inks that perfectly match. And they gave us enough warning so that if you wanted to get any re-inkers or complete your ink collection, you can. I will still use their old inks. I like their old inks. I'm sure I'll like their new inks because they're going to be very similar. So I appreciate that they let us know about that instead of just canceling them. All right, it'll be a few months. Yeah, a lot of companies are having supply chain issues, something about fires and things that are happening. Just know, hi Rachel, just know that they're doing the best they can. They're doing the best they can. Okay, so I will be using Pinkfresh today. Everything I'm using from Pinkfresh is older. There are things that I've wanted to use or things that, some of it are things I wanted to use. Some are things that I was looking through my stash and I'm like, why haven't I used this? I really like it. And then some things worked with an idea I had in mind. And so I found the products that work best with it. You do need to use my code JMcGuire to get the discount. Good reminder, Pinkfresh. It's all at the top of my YouTube description below. It's all there. Before I get creating though, I do want to say it is a holiday weekend here, which means there are a lot of sales. There's a lot of great sales going on. Mike, can you put up the sales image? Did you get that one?
Which one?
Just my Crafty Deals one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So right now there are lots of 4th of July deals going on. In my description below, at the bottom of the special offers, you'll see a link to my sales page. There are some big things going on, like $20 off your order at Simon's Stamp. There are several site-wide sales. So a lot of things going on in addition to what Pinkfresh offers. And that's in the YouTube description below at the bottom of the special offers section. And we'll constantly update that. Okay. Thank you, Brianne, for linking that. Brianne is here in the chat too, and she will also link things that I talk about. Thank you, Brianne. Okay, by the way, brushes should be included in the 20% off. The new grip mats that you'll see me use, and I'll talk about them in a moment, they are not included in the new in the 20% off because it's considered a new product. But I will talk about that. Everything I'm using today is either 20% off all the products or 25% off the inks, except for like a grip mat. Everything else will be on sale. Okay, and if you have any questions, I believe Kenry is here and she is under the Pinkfresh username, so you can tag her. Yeah, a lot of great sales, and I appreciate it. I mean, these small businesses are working really hard, and sales are a great way to get through the summer, which often is a slump for our industry. Okay, so I have a few things planned. What should I do first? Let's do the most involved one. I'm doing a variety of things. I try to kind of come up with a theme for my live at the beginning. Like the last Pinkfresh live that I did, it was a bunch of different types of window cards. But today I had a bunch of random ideas, so each one will offer something a little bit different. So first up, I had an idea for a really fun fold card. It is a variation of a technique that I did in a live a few weeks ago. I'm just changing it up, and I found some products at Pinkfresh that work really well with it. So I'm going to start with that. So let's go to the overhead. Make sure this is straight. Sorry. I always should do this beforehand, but sometimes you forget. Okay. So for this first card, I've done a lot of prep. I did a lot of prep so that I would save your time. And, oh, good point. I did a lot of prep to save you some time and be able to show you more. Pinkfresh did say, they reminded me that with my code, you also get the 2 free blending brushes. And I'll show you the blending brushes in a moment. But for the card that I have in mind today, it's a really cool fold-out card that opens up really big, and I've never done one like this. It's a variation of one I did, as I mentioned. But I'm going to be using the Dazzling District. Pinkfresh had a line a few months ago that had like kind of couture kind of products like high heels and a perfume bottle and different things, and one of them was the Dazzling District. And I liked it because you could change it up very easily. And I liked the sentiments, like sending a little hello, can't wait to see you, until we meet again, missing our talks, let's catch up, the kind of missing you themes that are great, or sentiments that are great. So I thought I would use these today and also combine in another product that is older. So the Dazzling District collection has a stamp set and a coordinating stencil set, which colors in the images, and a die set, which cuts them out along with the sentiments. And there is the option of the press plate. So you could do either the press plate with the stencils and dies or the stamp set with the stencils and dies. So whatever you prefer. If it were up to me, I would go for the press plate. If there's an option between press plate and stamp set, I usually will pick the press plate because it gives you a nice crisp image with a lot less effort. But you would need a Betterpress system for that. By the way, the Betterpress system, I'm always trying to share deals for that. The Betterpress system is available at Simon Says Stamp, and right now they have $20 off $100 or more. So I have that at the top of my supply list if you're considering that. It's just a place that you could save this weekend. So I have prepped a lot of this just to save us some time, but I will do some of it for you live. So what I did is I took you could either do the stamp or the press plate, but what both do is stamp both of them at once. So it's one stamp that does both of these buildings at once. So for my card, I stamped them. You could use a press plate. And then I cut them out with the coordinating die. So the Dazzling District coordinating die set has this die that cuts them out. Normally, I would stamp, then stencil, then cut them out. But for today's video, I wanted my 2 different buildings to be different colors, so it's easier to cut them first, then stencil, okay? So what I did is I stamped, and then I used the coordinating dies to cut them out. So you can see what they look like cut out. There's one of these, and then there are 2 different style of buildings. Let me find those. I'm trying to explain this well, but I'm tripping on my words. But I did a bunch of them off screen, okay? So I stamped them, used the coordinating die to cut them out, and then I made a rainbow of buildings. I used Pinkfresh inks for these, and I'll tell you, Pinkfresh inks, I love them. I love Pinkfresh inks. The colors are very happy, as you can see here. They're very jelly bean-like. And there are sets of 4 available, like a light, medium, dark, and extra dark. You can buy them individually or in the sets. I will tell you the different sets I used. This one is the pink set that includes the color Sparkling Rose. This is the orange ink color set from Pinkfresh that includes the clementine. That includes the color clementine, yep. This is the yellow that includes the color lemon whip. This is the green collection that includes grassy knoll. This is the blue collection that includes sapphire. And this is the purple collection. Actually, this is a combination of their two purple collections. One of them includes the color hydrangea, and one of them includes the color soft lilac. So I just did different shades and different shades, I guess you would say, of these colors. So I would have a rainbow, because I'm going to do a fold out card where all of these rainbow buildings fold out. And we're going to modify these. But before I show you that fold out card, I want to have one building on the front of my card. And I'll go ahead and make that one now so you can see how these stencils work. Somebody asked about the two free brushes. The two brushes that you would get, let me get two of them out so you can see them, are the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch brushes. You get one of them, one of each. They will not show up in your cart. If you use my code, they will add them as they fulfill your orders. So if you're checking out and you don't see these added to your cart, that's okay. They will be added to your order if you use my code. You will, with my code, see that 20% off products. So I'll be using those brushes. You'll see me use them here in a moment. But all of the rainbow houses that I just made will go on the inside of my fold out card. I want to make one for the front of my card. And I don't know. I thought about doing a multicolor building on the front, but I think I'm going to do pink. So I'll have a pink house on the front and then multicolor when you open it up. Yes, the brushes also, the brushes are while supplies last. All right, so remember that, I'll do this one because I already did the windows. Remember that the stamp set has the two different type of buildings. If you stamp it and then lay down the stencil, you can color them both at once and then cut them out both at once, but I cut them out first. Now I want this building to be on the front of my house, or on the front of my card. So I have already used the stencil that colors in the windows. And over that, I did a very light amount of waterfall ink, so it's just like a light blue. The reason that's already done is I did that on all of my buildings at the beginning because I wanted them all to be the same for the windows. All right, so I've done that stencil. Let's move on to the next one. This stencil does the other house and this, or the other building and this one. As I said, I think I'm going to do pink for this. I really like the pinks from Pinkfresh. I feel like they're a very true pink. A lot of pinks that I have are either a little red or a little purple. Their pinks are really nice right in the middle. So I'm lining up this stencil. I'm not sure I'm going in the right order, but I don't really think it matters. So for this stencil here, I'm going to do like a medium color. Let me show you the collection I'm using from Pinkfresh. One of my labels, I got messy. But the colors are Ballet Slipper, Sparkling Rose, Bubblegum, and Raspberry Bliss, going from light to dark. For this particular stencil, I'm going to do like the dark color. Not the darkest, but a dark color. And I will grab one of my blending brushes. This is the 1/2 inch blending brush from Pinkfresh. You have heard me in lives talk about their magic brushes. That's the 1 inch blending brush. I love these brushes. I am absolutely in love with these brushes. And these new and improved 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch brushes from Pinkfresh are the same bristles. So I'm excited about that. And they're shorter than their older version. And so I really like these. And you get to sample one of the 1/4 inch and one of the 1/2 inch if you use my code to shop. So I'm putting, we'll put a medium application of this bubblegum color. If I wanted to save time, I could take the bigger brush and just do all of it. So there are advantages to using a bigger brush and a smaller brush. The advantages of the bigger brush are, you know, you can do blended backgrounds easily, or you can cover larger areas quickly. The advantages of a smaller brush is you can do selective inking, like do different parts different ways, okay? But for this first stencil, this is stencil number 5. I'm not going in order. That was the bubblegum. All right, stencil number, let's go to stencil number 1, which I should have started with. And you'll see how well it lines up here. I'm just gonna line this up. It's very easy to line it up with the stamping. And this one I'm gonna do I'm gonna do the Sparkling Rose. This is one of my favorite pink colors. Now, I had just used this on a darker color. The way I clean brushes is just use a dry cloth. I never wash my brushes, ever. If I really need to clean it for some reason, I give it one quick spritz with rubbing alcohol and wipe it off quickly. I never run mine underwater because there's glue in there holding those bristles in place, and I don't want to take the risk of messing those up. And also, the more ink you have on your brushes, the better. So I don't see a reason to clean them. I've asked this question before, but I don't remember the answer. Mike, can you do a poll?
Yeah.
I need to know, do people clean their blending brushes? Like I'm asking in a poll, do you clean them like with soap and water? Do you like give them a good cleaning? Because I never do. And I know a lot of my friends who craft, they never do either. So I'm curious if you do. All right, so this is stencil number 2. Mike's gonna put a poll up, you can answer. Stencil number 2, let's do on here, let's do Raspberry Bliss. Or no, that's not Raspberry Bliss. Let's do Raspberry Bliss here. This is the darkest of the colors. Here's the thing, I don't feel like a good quality blending brush needs to be cleaned. If you want to switch from like a dark color to a light color, just rub off on a dry cloth like I showed you, or give it, as I mentioned, a quick spritz with rubbing alcohol and then wipe that off. I never have washed my brushes.
As you can guess, my answer was no.
Yeah, Mike answered no because Mike's never used any blending brushes. Okay, and then this one here, this last stencil, I'm gonna go light with that because I wanna be able to stamp something on the awning if I want to. Yeah, here's somebody who said that. Anne said, no, she said she's lazy. Girl, I get it. Like, I don't wanna clean, like in my house. Why would I wanna clean in my craft room? Here's how you do the rubbing alcohol. You just take one quick spritz right onto the bristles. I'm gonna do that off to the side. And then right away, go onto a dry cloth, and that'll get all the excess ink off, and now I can switch to a lighter color.
That's what some people have said that.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I never do more than that. So there we go. There's my pink house for the front. All right, or pink building, I guess I should say. So now I know what's gonna go on the front, and I know what's gonna go on the inside. And I'm gonna show you what we're doing here in just a moment. Let me put all these away because if I don't put them away at the beginning of the live, I'm doomed for the rest of the live. And it's Friday night, so I'm putting my hair up. Yeah, who wants to clean? Oh, Gloria said she washed brushes and the heads fell off. Yeah, I can see that happening. I agree. Okay, so this one will be the front. These will all be in the inside. And as I mentioned, I already did the window coloring. All right, now I'm going to do a card base, kind of like what I'm going to show you here. A couple weeks ago, I went live, and it was using Spellbinders products. It was using Jana's Buildings, which is a different look than this. It's a die cut set, but you can check out that video. It's in my supply list. It says video, let me see what it says. Tiered something. Yeah, in my supply list it says tiered fun fold card. And that card you opened up, and it opened up a little bit different, but you ended up with something that opens like this. Okay? So you can open it up and it just I don't have the card. I don't know where it is. But it was a fun fold card like this. So I'm doing a variation of that today, and I'm gonna explain that to you. So we're gonna make this card base next, all right? Now, in full disclosure, I spent a lot of time with this card base figuring out different ways to do it. I am sharing with you the method that is easiest, okay? Some people will say, well, couldn't you use a little less cardstock? Yes, but it takes a lot more effort. So I'm going with the easy route. What do people say about their brushes?
92% no.
92% no. You all are my kind of people.
Did you see about the buildings?
The building.
Sentiment on each building? This one.
Oh, I will talk about that.
Okay.
That's a good point. Hold on. Let me find my stuff here. Hold on. Yes, good point. I don't know who asked that. But if you look at these, on the awning, the stamp set has like some sentiments that you could, like boutique and stuff that you can put on the stores. I didn't use those. Instead, I went through my Pinkfresh stamp sets, and I found sentiments that were small enough to fit on the awnings and would go with the theme of my card. The theme of my card is going to be, on the front it's going to say just a little hello, and when you open it all up, it says, can't wait to see you. So I went with sentiments that went with friendship. So I just went through my stash. I found you are great, with all my love, just because, made with love, sending hugs, and hello. Those are all from random Pinkfresh stamp sets, but you could go through your stash and find any tiny little sentiments. I feel like a lot of Pinkfresh stamp sets and other stamp set, other companies, have like these tiny little sentiments that work as like sub-sentiments for the bigger ones, and that's what you're looking for. This one says, with all my love, it's the peony glow, and I used it right here. So I just picked some sentiments that kind of went with a friendship theme and would fit on the awnings. And they're all different style. You can see they're very different looks, and that worked. You could also skip that if you wanted to. Okay, now for this crazy card base, okay, for this crazy card base, what you need to do is start with 2 pieces of white cardstock, or whatever color you want, that are 5.5 by 8.5 inches. So 5.5 by 8.5, that's half of a sheet of cardstock. So you could take 1 sheet of cardstock, cut it in half, and you have this. The first thing I'll do is cut a little bit off one of the ends, about 1/8 of an inch off one of the ends. So I just cut about that much off, both of those pieces. Now this is very similar, as I mentioned, to a live that I did the other day, but I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm hoping it works. It's Friday. If it doesn't work, I'll come up with something. I saw somebody ask what a tens unit is. Like, can you Google what official thing, like description of a tens unit? Tens unit sends like a current through your muscles.
Yes, a small battery-powered device uses low-voltage electrical currents to relieve pain.
Yes.
It's a T word, then electrical nerve stimulation.
Okay. So it just, here, I'll show you one of the patches. It hooks up anytime you have any kind of muscle pain. It's like this little patch. Here you go, right there. And it sticks to you, and it sends, ooh, that's zapping my fingers. It sends little currents. It feels good. Have you ever, when I was a kid and I would run in my socks to get a little static, and then I'd touch my brother and it would zap him? It kind of feels like that. But Amanda from Pear Blossom Press, when I had back pain last week, she sent me one as a thank you. And I used it so much that I bought a second so I could alternate while the other one was charging. It's fantastic. It helps quite a bit. Anyways, tens unit. Okay, back to this. I have 2 pieces of cardstock that are 8.5 by 5.5, and I cut a little bit off at about 1/8 of an inch off. Both of these pieces I will do 4 score lines. These are easy to do, very easy to figure out. The first score line is at 1 inch. The second score line is at 3 1/8. 3 1/8 is easy. It's just one groove line to the right of 3. Okay? So we'll score at 3 1/8. What did I use that sold out? Curious. And then, so I did 1 and 3 1/8, and then I rotate it and do the same thing from the other end. 1 and 3 1/8. Okay? Same thing on the other piece. 1, 3 1/8, and then 1, 3 1/8. Yeah, I didn't think, honestly, I didn't think the tens unit would reach where my pain was, because it's like in my hip flexor, but I think it helps, so I do it. And they're not expensive, they're great. My bone folder was from a company that has closed called Paper Insider, but this type of bone folder, it's a Teflon bone folder, you can get from different companies. So both of these pieces, I'm folding each one of the score lines in the same direction, and you end up with what looks kind of like almost a square from the side. See, it's almost a square? Almost a square. Okay? All right, now, next thing you need is a piece of white cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. All right, this card in the end will fold down to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. All right, I will give you a link to the tens unit that.
Okay, I'll add it to the list.
I will link you to the one that I find lasts the longest is, hold on, I'm gonna find it so I can, because I have one that needs to be recharged often. It doesn't have a cord though, it's cordless. So it's just like a little thing that you stick on and it's cordless, but it only lasts for a short amount of time. The one I like has a cord. You don't have to plug into the wall, but you plug to a little unit like this one, and I just put it in my pocket. And that one I find works really well. I'm gonna give you a link to that in the chat because it's helpful. It's 30 bucks. Copy. All right, I will put this in the chat. Hang on. This is the one that I use the most. There are some that don't have any cords, but this is the one that lasts a long time. Okay, all right. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. I'm gonna take one of these and we'll use some strong liquid adhesive. I didn't put my cap on, so I'm sure it's clogged. I never do. So I just use oh dear, I just busted that. I use a pin to clear out the tip. Here we go. To clear out the tip, you just use a stainless steel pin to clear it out if you forgot to put your lid on it. Mike, I just put my tens unit in there. If people have questions, you can. I don't know if tens unit would work with foot pain. I'm not sure what kind of pain it works with. There are smarter people than me in the comments. And also, I can't think too much about it or I will not be able to make the card I need to make. Okay, hang on. Just a second. I need to set mine. Okay. Okay, from one of these, I will put liquid adhesive along one of the flaps. So just along one of these flaps. And I'll take that flap and put it right along the edge of this 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece. So this first folded edge here will go right along the edge of the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece. So you can see that square is now attached. I'm just gonna hold it so you can kind of see it. All right, so that's what we got there. Now there's another flap on there. I'll put glue on that. Now we're gonna take this and we're gonna fold it down like this. So over on the next score line, I'll fold it flat. This has got liquid adhesive facing up towards the camera, and then I'll close down onto it. So you have this like little, see this little square here? That's glued to the edge of that 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch white cardstock piece. Okay? Everybody's sharing tips for the tens unit. I'm glad it works out for you all. Okay, with that. So there is our first one. And right here, this could be a fun card. It flattens to go in an envelope, and then it pops up, and you could have some extra dimension. It stands nicely on display. But we're gonna step that up. I've got my other exact same piece. On one of the flaps, I'll put liquid adhesive. And we're gonna put it on the back side of this. We have one of these boxes on the front. Now we're gonna do one back here. So there's liquid adhesive on this flap, and I'll put that folded line right along the back side on the other edge. So see how this is gonna get glued there, so you have one on each side. Yes, this is very similar to one of the other cards I've done in a previous video, but I'm gonna change it up here in a moment. I'm hoping I figure it out. Yeah, don't do a tens unit if you have a pacemaker. All right, liquid adhesive on that little extra flap. And that, once again, we just kind of flatten it down, close everything down. So basically you want to always make sure everything just closes flat to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch size. And look at that, isn't that cool? So right there, you can make a fun card base like that. You could have something go across here. In fact, I should do that in a video because it flattens and it pops up. It would actually work really well. Okay, so this is kind of a fun base that you can add things to. Let me show you some of the options. What I will be doing is, I've got this base here. I have yet another 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece. On this left, this I will consider the front of my card. So on this left-hand side, I'll put strong liquid adhesive. And this will be the front of my card. So it could be whatever color you want. I'm just gonna flatten it all down and put that onto the front. So everything is lining up. So now you have this front panel here, okay? So this will be the front of your card, and when you open it, you'll see all these fun folds. This will be the front. Got something on it there. When in doubt, paper sander. Okay, then I want something on the back, so it looks nice when you open it. So I have another 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece. And this is gonna go on the back side. So if this is the front, this is the back. So I'll do the exact same thing on the back side. So let's see. This time I'll put it on the right-hand side. Lay it down, put on the glue, or put on the panel, and this is what you end up with. See what it looks like? It's different than what I did last time. Last time I did this time I did this. If you look, they're a little different. But I know that sounds confusing, like looking at these two, what's the difference? But if you go watch my other live, you'll see the description, like the steps for this. This live, just rewind and watch, and you can follow the steps for this. Okay, this timed out. I need to turn it back on. Okay. All right, so I'm doing this one today. So now this will be the front of my card, and when you open it up, look at that. And you can stand it up. And what would look nice on here? All of these houses or buildings, okay? Okay, so now this you can just, so it closes to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but if you open this, let's see, how big is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's almost 13 inches across, almost, okay? So you can have some fun in this. You could have flowers in here. You could have a scene. You really could have just like stamping and pattern paper and have one image over here and it just looks dramatic, whatever you want. The code is working because we tested it out. Make sure you spell my name correctly. A lot of people like to do a Q instead of a G. So give that a try, okay? All right, so this is what we're gonna do, put all these houses on here. Now, I thought it would be fun. I'm gonna flatten this out. So I've opened it and flattened it out. I thought it'd be fun to put some clouds in the background because all of these are gonna be on here, but I thought some clouds in the background would be nice. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this because it's not gonna show much, but let me show you my trick for making clouds. Now, if you have a die set that has cloud dies, you could use those instead of what I'm doing. If you have a stencil set that has like a cloud border, use those. I didn't want to do that in case you didn't have them. Instead, I just took random circle dies of different sizes and I just taped them together. I just used Scotch tape. And I'm gonna use these as kind of a stencil to put some soft clouds in the sky. Again, if you have products to make clouds, they're gonna look better if you use those products. But if you don't have clouds to make those, you know, or stencils to make those kind of clouds, this is a nice trick, okay? I will use sky blue, which is a nice soft blue color from Pinkfresh. And I have one of their 1/2-inch blending brushes. And all of mine are gonna go towards the top. So I will just lay one of these like little clouds that I made up here. And I'm gonna ink mostly on my little cloud and along the top edge. Just to do like a little halo of that blue color, okay? And I will do this randomly. Now, one of the things that I like about Pinkfresh inks and many dye inks, but especially a few certain lines, Pinkfresh is one of them. If you use their inks, they will soften and kind of smooth out as they dry. So if you get some harsh lines or you feel it's a little too much contrast, just give it some time and it'll soften out. I know Gina K inks kind of do that. Pinkfresh inks kind of do that. Most dye inks do, but some do more than others. And it's nice because you don't have to spend as much time getting a nice blend. Okay, so I'm getting some clouds here. Mike, how long is that sale for? Mike's gonna look and tell us. So I'm just doing these randomly across this. Again, if you have cloud stencils or cloud dies, it's gonna give you better results.
Yours?
But this is a great way to
Your sale?
make it work. Yeah.
The 5th.
My
Sunday.
my 20% off goes through Sunday. The brushes are, the free brushes are while supplies last. I made kind of a mess there, so I'm just gonna sand some of that off. But you can see my little clouds building here. Okay, let me do a few more and then we will, yeah, Tailored Expressions inks blend well. Really all dye inks kind of smooth as they dry, just some do more than others. I really feel like every ink has a different kind of, every brand of ink has a different perk to it, and you just gotta find what works for you. I think that's good, because my buildings are tall. So I can always come back and do more. And these little clouds you can keep for another time. I am great, Peggy. I just have back pain, that's all. It's okay. All right, so there we have our fold out. Isn't that fun? Okay, so let's start adding these down. Now, I could just glue them all tall, but I think some of them I'm gonna give a haircut to make shorter. All right. Yeah, Pinkfresh said they have plenty of brushes to give away, but you never know. They should be fine. But look at this. It's like these stamps were made for this because look at how it fits perfectly in that area. I got lucky because I had this idea in my mind when I was sleeping last night, or not sleeping, I guess you would say, and it fills it nicely. I was quite surprised. It fits perfectly. There we go. So that one goes there. Look at those little chairs. I'm gonna actually have the chairs go down a bit and I'll cut it in a moment. Anything that hangs off. Now this house, I think I'm gonna make it shorter. Or this building. I keep saying houses, whatever it is. I'm gonna cut it right here. Okay. So we have different heights. Look at that. See, that works. No one would ever know. In fact, there's like a yellow edge up there. What I can do is come in with a white pen and just color that top edge so it has that white trim, just like the rest of the die cut. Okay, so that one's shorter. I'll probably make the purple one shorter too. And I just did a rainbow kind of going across here. You always got to stop and make sure you're not hindering any movement. Looks like this yellow one here is hanging off the edge a bit. Let me move it over a little bit, or we'll give it a haircut. Let me try to move it over as much as I can. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, see? Always test. Isn't that fun? Okay, then blue. Maybe blue will do shorter. Let's do blue shorter. So this one, I'll cut not as short. I'll cut it right here. By the way, if you go over to my sales page, Spellbinders is having a sale too, and Spellbinders has the scissors on sale. Just go to the sales page on my blog and you'll see a link. These scissors are on sale. So are their craft stacks, which I will not admit to going and buying tons of them last week. Okay, so it's nice that they're all different heights. And then finally we'll do the full-size purple. Okay, zoink. Okay, there we go. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Now there's a little bit hanging off the bottoms, so I'll trim off the bottoms. Nobody wants their bottom hanging out. Right, Mike?
Well, you never know.
You never know. That's true. Okay, there we go. Isn't that nice? Now, I'm not done. We also need, one of the houses will go on the front. House, building, whatever. I think it'll go right across there. I'm going to keep this simple on the front. Whenever I have a lot on the inside, I like to go simple on the front. It's up to you. It's completely up to you. I'm going to go kind of simple with this one. And really, it's not that bulky, considering. Oh, what other products would I use for this design? There are a lot of companies that have different houses, or you could do a long scene. You could use, like cut a wavy line and do like a grass along the bottom, like a wavy hill, do the clouds like I did and have little critters going across. You could have flowers. It'd be fun to do like a flower garden where you have different flowers on each tier. And you could also make it smaller. You could not do this back half, so it's just the 4, which I showed on one of my other lives. So really you can have anything going across. Yeah, a car scene, anything. Just stretch it across there. Because really, if you just open this and flatten it, it's a big panel. You could do little photos of your kids, whatever you want. Yeah, isn't that fun? Okay, so on the front, I like to kind of keep it simple. But I thought it'd be fun to add some little florals to this. In fact, Mike, did I give you some images that are named District?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you some cards from the Pinkfresh website. They always say that I can share this. I loved this card. I'm not sure who made it, somebody on the Pinkfresh design team. And I love those florals along the building. That sentiment, until we meet again, I think that's great. I mean, miss you cards are fantastic. So I thought flowers would be fun to add. Are there more? Here's another one with flowers. So I thought I would try that. That says, let's catch up. Are there any more?
Nope.
Nope, that's it. Okay. Mike, in that box, there's a card that uses these buildings, if you can find it. So I went through my stash, and that's when I discovered this set that I can't believe I never used. It's called Cheerful Blossoms. I have no idea when this came out. It was a while ago. Let me remove the stamp because it's dirty and it's harder to tell. Let me show you. Hold on. This is Cheerful Blossoms. There is a stamp set. And that's one big stamp and then 2 sentiment stamps. There is a press plate, so you could get the same images as a press plate, coordinating stencils, and a coordinating die, okay? So off screen, I stamped, but you could use a press plate on white cardstock, and you can color them to be whatever colors you want. And that's what I have here. Okay. This one's really neat. Jody, who works for Pinkfresh, I'm not sure if she's here. I think she made this card. She sent it to me to share. Look at how she made it like a night look. And just with the Miss You So Much. Very simple, but very effective. So lots of different things. This one's on their website. So if you go to the Darling District product page, you'll see this one on here. I love it. Okay. So I stamped and two of these Cheerful Blossoms, and I used the first stencil, which is the leaf stencil for it. And I just did some quick green inking over it, okay? Just to save some time. Now, I'm going to make some of these different colors to go kind of skedaddled over the front of the card, or the inside of the card and the front. So I did the first stencil with greens. Now we're going to go on this one. Because my cardstock's so big, this doesn't get to suction to my grip mat. So instead of relying on the grip mat, I will put magnets. The magnet will actually hold through the grip mat, which is nice. All right, so some of these flowers will go on the front, some will go on the inside. I'm going to start with some yellow, because I think on the front of the card, a big yellow floral would look nice with that pink building. So I'll start with, this is Sunshine. I'll make this one work. And this one I'll do yellow. And then some of these I'll do yellow. Just random. Let's do this one yellow. So that's Sunshine. And then I can also come in with a smaller brush. And this is why it's nice to have both the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch. I use the 1/4 inch, or I use the 1/2 inch there. This is a smaller 1/4 inch, and I can come in and just do some darker apricot just at the center of those flowers, just to add some interest. So by having different size brushes, this can make a really big difference. Okay, so you can see that contrast there. Let's do some more. I'm trying to do these quickly just to save you all a little bit of time. Mike, are there any questions?
Yeah.
So let's do a little bit. Let's do pink here. We'll do a pink over here. And I'm just kind of doing the rest in a variety so that I have them to add to different places. I could have planned it out, but I'm not going to. What you got? Any questions?
Can you add the pieces you just cut off of the pink front house for a multicolored house?
Yes. Yeah, I could. Yeah, I could take these, like this piece here, and put it at the top here to make a multicolor house. Or I could have easily inked all of those buildings to be multicolor. Absolutely. I actually considered making that house on the front like a rainbow house, but I didn't. I got lazy. Sometimes that happens. Other questions, Mike? Okay, that's the first stencil. Oh, that's so cute. I love the stencils.
Where did you get the words that are on the buildings?
So if you scroll back, somebody asked where I got all the sentiments that are on the buildings. If you scroll back, I mentioned that I just went through my Pinkfresh stash and chose sentiments that fit on the building and kind of went with the theme of the card. You absolutely could use whatever sentiments you want. They don't have to be, you know, from a certain company. You could also, you know, write something in there or just leave it blank. All right, let me get some more of these done. But if you scroll back, I talked about that. I just wanted to kind of add into the theme of the card. What else you got?
Somebody asked about the metallic pen you used in one of your recent videos. I think that was the push here from the candles. Or the
Metallic pen?
metallic pen. Oh, it was the ink that I got in Japan.
Oh, if you're asking about an ink that I used, a little metallic ink pad that I used in a previous live, that was from something Mike got for me when he was in Japan. So I don't know how to link to that.
Unless it was a different thing.
It's from the people who make Versamark, Tsukaneko. So I'm just doing random things here, random colors, and I'm hoping that I can add them to the buildings and that they'll all look nice. But I'm using the same color families that I used earlier. I need to do some green flowers. What's up next, Mike?
So the free brushes do not appear in the cart. They still get added again.
Yes. The free brushes will not appear in your cart, but they will
With the code.
will be added with the code, automatically added into your order. Doopy-doo-doo-doo. I could have made this, by the way, much easier if I just did one color over each, but I'm kind of winging it. Look at that, though. Look how cute. Now, as I'm doing this, later in this video, hopefully, I will have time to make either a shaker or inlay card, whatever you guys choose for me to do. And this set would be great for it. I think these flowers are the cutest little flowers. So keep that in mind. You could always use this. Let's see. Let's do a little green flower over here and one more. Nope, there's flower centers. Oh, there is a stencil that will color the centers of the flowers, but I'm going to skip that and I'll use like a white gel pen later. What color did I need last? Blue. Where did my blue go? Here it is. This one will work. Okay. Zoop, 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 zoop. There's some flowers. And I have another set over here. I know I like this one right here, this little flat guy. So I'm going to do just this guy. I like him. I'll make him a different color this time. Another question, Mike? Actually, I'll leave this. I'm going to wait until I see what I need. So again, there is another stencil. I'm flustered, sorry. There is another stencil that does the flower centers, but I'm going to skip that and use a gel pen in a little bit. So there is the Cheerful Blossoms. I'm going to come in and watch how easy these are to cut out. It's one big stamp or press plate and then one big die that cuts them all out at once. Look at this. Look at that. Has she left? No, she hasn't left yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, the flowers are great. These are cute flowers. I'm very happy. Okay, so we have all of these little guys we can add to our card. And I also have my sentiments. See how we've got all of these now. So you could make a wreath with these, a lot of different things you can do, but I thought I'm just gonna use a magnets to hold this kind of flat. Where's my other big magnet? Here we go. There we go. And then I'll add some of the little flowers to it. So like, here we go. Here's a little orange flower. I'll add one up here. I'm gonna kind of go with like what it matches. So I'll add another orange flower here. But you don't want to get in the way of, you want to make sure you're not in the way of the folds. You don't want to hinder the folds. There's a green. Let's do, so I'm just going to glue some of these in. Let's see. I want this big one right here. Like that. And I'm going to use one of the big mama ones on the front. But these little ones will all go inside. And you could do bigger ones. They don't all have to be the same. Let's do it like that. Okay, Mike, more questions? I didn't do any purple. Oh, but I have a sentiment to put on there, so that's okay.
Do you have a favorite or two sets of sentiments from Pinkfresh?
Oh, yes, I do have some favorite sentiment sets. Hold on. Let me glue these bad boys down. Just some little flowers here and there. I'd probably do more if I had a bit more time, but I don't want to spend too much time doing this. Hold on, I'll show you my favorites. Mike, remind me to show my favorites right after this. I think I'm going to put Can't Wait to See You right here. Just barely fits. Maybe, how about sending a little hello on the inside because it fits perfect there, and then Can't Wait to See You on the front. This is from the Darling District stamp set. I just stamped it with black on white, and I used the coordinating die to cut it out, and I love, 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 love that Pinkfresh coordinating dies cut it very tight. Like it cuts out the little center areas, so you can easily add it somewhere. The magnets that I'm using are from Glassboard Studio. It works with my glass magnetic work surface. So there we go. Now you could put little birds in the sky or whatever if you want. In fact, the easiest way to do little birds in the sky is to just take a black pen and go make like almost M's.
Are those buildings on sale, or are those new?
Yep, the buildings are on sale. Yeah, this is an older product. I tried to use older today. Little birds in the sky. You can make some bigger or smaller. All right, there we go. Look at that. And you could add some more flowers, but let's look at the front. I feel like I want to give some love there. So I'm thinking one of these big florals, like right there, and the Can't Wait to See You. But I want the front to have some dimensions, so I'll put extra die cut behind it so it's got a little pop-up. And I could have done something on the background here. Like one of my favorite type of products from Pinkfresh is their Coverplate dies, which are background dies that do like patterns. I'll use one later. If I have time. This card's taking longer, but I could have done that on the white, so there's a little more interest. But again, I usually try to keep things simple when the inside is elaborate. Okay, so I think I'm going to do like that, and then another flower up there. So let's do a flower here, kind of going kind of behind and in front of. I like that. Somebody's upstairs. Who's upstairs? I thought Lila was going to her friend's house. Okay. And then this guy right there. Look at that.
Might be Mom.
Oh. Kelly. Who's Kelly? Happy birthday, Kelly. It's also Pam's birthday, Mike said. Okay. So there you can see kind of, maybe that should go over a bit. Joop.
Yeah, Mom.
It's grand. Okay. Because on the inside houses, I stamped on that awning, but on this one here, I think I'll leave it and maybe put a little flower here. So I have like 3 little flower clusters. I'll add another one here in a moment. So like this. Oh, that's so cute. And then I could put one up here, but I think I want it there. Kind of all focaled right there. There we go. So there's kind of a focal around the sentiment. Is that straight? I think it's straight. And then, where's my white pen? My white pen, I'll put white at the center of the flowers. I feel like a lot of times when you have colorful flowers, that pop of white at the center really makes it stand out. And there we go. So I'll do the same on the inside. So we have this really fun fold out. And what's cool about this is one of those cards that really looks cool on display. And isn't that what we kind of want from our cards? Is that they put them on display? So there we go. There's the front. Got a little ink gooby over here. I'm considering, hang on, considering. I think that's a little too big. I don't have any small ones left. I could make some more. I don't have any small flowers left, but I could make, you know what, I'm gonna do that one. I like that one there. I don't want it to cover the building. Oops. And my leftover flowers are bigger, so we'll just do that. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So this is the Cheerful Blossoms stamps, coordinating stencils, and dies. That's what the flowers are. Then the sentiments and all of the buildings are Darling District. So this is the card, flattens for a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch envelope. All right. Then it opens up. Personal message, write it on the back. If you don't like it on the back, you could glue a little mini note card to the back where you can put it in the inside. Or another thing you could do is skip one of the buildings and you could write like your personal message on one of the panels. But look at how neat that stands on display. I mean, that's super cool. And honestly, one of the types of cards that I send the most, besides like thinking of you or thank you, is miss you. And this is kind of a nice miss you theme, I guess, with the can't wait to see you and the hello, sending a little hello. All right, there we go. And see, the clouds work. I just used circle dies. Isn't that fun? That, it worked. Sometimes I have ideas and then they don't. Like I think them up when I'm not in my craft room and then I come down and it's like major crash and burn, which happens more often than not. But this time it actually worked a little bit. A bit. I saw somebody ask about the EasyBlend grip mats from Pinkfresh. These are the EasyBlend grip mats. I have one right here. It comes in this size, which is the bigger, which is, I think it's the size of a sheet of cardstock, I think, around that. Then they have a medium size that fits into a Misty, an original Misty. And then they have the smallest, which fits into a mini Misty. Now, there are a lot of grip mats out there, and I think a lot of them are great. The thing that's different about the Pinkfresh that I'm liking is the back side of it has a bit of a checkerboard look. It's not a grid, it's a checkerboard. So how do I describe it? Every other little square on the back is solid and every other square is open. So the back isn't entirely sticky. Like the whole thing doesn't grip too much to your glass work surface. So this grip mat will stay on your desk. See how it's staying on my glass work surface, but it's not hard to pull off. If this were solid on the other side, it'd be hard to pull off. But it has a little border that's solid and then those alternating checkerboards that are solid, which hold it in place enough, okay? So I'm liking it. I have one in one of my Misties and I have this one that I ink on. It's fantastic. I think the grip on it is just the right amount. And you just wash it with gentle soap and water. And if it really needs a good cleaning, you can use a stamp cleaner. Unfortunately, these are part of their new release, so it's not included in the 20% off, but it pulls off very easily, but it stays put because there's a solid border, but the center part's not. Does that make sense? So on the back side, it's not solid. On the front side, it's solid. So it just makes it easy to move around, but also stay put. So these are not on sale, but Pinkfresh has free shipping, free US shipping at a certain threshold. Mike, do you know what it is? So even if these aren't on sale, if you're placing an order, that's something to consider. I love my mat. Okay, but the brushes are my favorite thing. Yeah, in the back, you could stamp with that back side too. It'll stamp like a, a checkerboard. Let me see.
I think it's 100.
Okay.
I think they can clear that up.
Let's see. The back side. Let me put some ink on it. I'm just doing it quickly. I'm not doing a great job. put some cardstock under there. Not the best stamping, but it'll work. And there you can have a checkerboard background stamp. So yep, you can stamp with the other side too. But there are a lot of great mats out there. Altenews has a finer grid, so it doesn't stick to your desk as much, so you can move it more. Like it moves freely, which might, you know, has its perks, but I like that this one sticks some. Waffle Flowers is solid on both sides. Gina K's is half the size of this, but it has background stamps on the other side. So they all have little perks, but this one is kind of like I'm liking this big one because that it sticks, but it's not hard to pull off. Okay, so there's the first card. Let's move on to the next one. One of the things, so everything I used on that card is 20% off if you use my code. The difference between this grip mat and Altenews is a fine grid on the back. So it doesn't grip to your desk as much, which you might like. You might want to be able to move this around as you ink. I want this to stay put. So that little border of solid on the back makes it stay when you press it down. But because there's that checkerboard in the back, you can actually remove it without having to pull a muscle. So, I mean, if you have a grip mat and you're happy with it, stick with it, okay? Now, let's do another card. I really wanted to use one of the sets. I don't know if Pinkfresh is here, if they could tell me. They have a name for this type of product, but it is where you stencil and then use a coordinating die to cut it all out, and you have no white trim. So it's not, there's no stamp set that coordinates, but it's a die set and a stencil set that coordinate. And the one I'm using today is one that I wanted to use on a live several weeks ago, a couple months ago, but I didn't get a chance to. It's called the Wild Meadow Wreath, and this is 20% off. And it creates all of those images and an I love you sentiment. So the die set has this die and the shadow for the letters I love you and then the words I love you, okay? It's a die and stencil suite, they said. Now for this, let me show you how it works. And I'm gonna show you that it works in a few different ways. So we're gonna do double. I've got a piece of white cardstock here. Let's start. If you look at the stencils, look how big and blobby they look. It's okay. It'll look blobby when you just use the stencils, but then when you go and cut it out with the dies, it'll look nice. Each time I'm just gonna line up in the corner of my cardstock, and I will use a magnet because I'm not actually on the grip mat. Did the screen go dark? Does it look darker all of a sudden? Woo, no? Okay. Who knows? We'll go with that. Okay. I think, let's see, what colors do I want to do? I'm going to do like purpley pink colors, but this is the leaves, obviously. This is stencil number 1. This is the Wild Meadow Wreath, and I think I'll use mint colors. All right, so this is the Wild Meadow Wreath, and they have a lot of these where it's a stencil set and then a die that cuts it out, and there will end up being no white trim. So I'm starting with mint here. I don't use this color often. We'll see. Okay. Hold on, I'm just looking. Yeah. What is, hold on. Okay, so I'm just gonna ink this up with mint. I am not gonna do fabulous blending here. I think it's pretty forgiving to not. And in fact, I think I will mix like this kind of minty color with more of a key lime color to get just a variation of green. So we'll do a light amount of mint. I wanted to do a light amount over the whole stencil. So I'm using my big blending brushes. I call these the Magic. These are the 1-inch blending brushes from Pinkfresh. I love them. You can get them 20% off right now. Now that looks kind of blobby, right? Bear with me. You know what? I'm going to do 2, as I mentioned. I'm going to repeat this. So I'm going to rotate my cardstock and do the same thing on the other side. Might as well do 2 at once so I can show you some more ideas. There are so many things you can do with this particular die set. And I'll mention some of the different ideas that I have as we go, and we'll demonstrate 1 or 2 of them. Just trying to do this quickly. Okay, so there is mint over those 2. All right, next up, stencil number 2. Just line it up in the corner. Now this will give me more details on those leaves and do some of the leaves in a different color. So I'm going to come in with, let's do key lime, which is more of a lime green, as I mentioned, and we'll do that. And I'll probably come in and do some shading on these in a little bit, but for now, let's just do this. So you can see how quickly you can ink and how you can get a light amount of color with the big brush. Notice, see that triangle there and the triangle there and the triangle here? That is not part of your final design. That will help you line up your stencils and line up your dies afterwards. So there you can see 2 shades of greens. I will come in with like a darker bit here in a second. All right. So let me go back and do this one. So I rotated. I like to do 2 at once. That way, you know, you've got the inks out. You've got the dirty stencils. You might as well make the most of it. All right, so key lime here. So key lime is the second darkest in the like lime family. Mint is the lightest. So it's just 2 different color families, but it's fun to mix them up. All right, let me see, what do we have next? So I think I want to add a little bit of shading to those, a little bit of contrast. So I'm going to come in with a 1/2-inch blending brush in Emerald City. Now, Emerald City is, no, I lied. I'm going to come in with Olive. So this is on top of the key lime. I'm going to come in with the Olive and just put that like at the base of some of the leaves and on some of the like little veins down the center. I'm really not taking a lot of care to make sure that this is done correctly or whatever. I'm just trying to add a little bit of interest. Now there are crafters who can do some serious blending, like gorgeous blending. Laura Basson, JC Gaspar, I mean, Mindy Egan, there are a lot of great blenders out there. I honestly feel like if I just do it quickly, let it dry and put my card together, it looks fine. So if you enjoy doing great blends and spending time getting it just perfect, go for it. If you just want to kind of dabble in it like me, really it can be very forgiving, especially with good inks that will blend on as they dry. What sentiment set did I use for the building card? The main sentiments that I used on the front and on the inside, like the hello and catching up or whatever, that is actually, those sentiments are from the Darling District set, the same sets that have the buildings. The tiny little sentiments I used in the inside are from a bunch of random Pinkfresh sets, not one in particular. I'm going to go back to the first card, or first stencil. This is the one where I used mint. And now I'm deciding I want a little more shading to that. So I line the first stencil back up. Again, this is stencil number 1 where I use mint. And I'm going to come in with Emerald City. This is a beautiful color. Let me show you what it looks like. Look at that. It's like a Emerald City color. It's amazing. It's got a little blue to it, but I'll just do a little bit of this at the center, at the base of the leaves or at the stem. Again, I'm not spending a lot of time getting it just right. And I would ask what questions there are, but Mike ran away. I think he went up to say hi to Gran. Ken and Lila are at a, well, Lila was. I don't know if she's back yet or not, but she went to a wiener dog race with Ken today. Why wiener dogs want to race in the 100-degree weather, I don't know, but apparently they do. All right, let's see. A little town near us had a wiener dog race. And of course, she wants a wiener dog. The Darling Districts is on sale. It's on sale. You just got to use the code at checkout and it'll work because I tested that beforehand. If you're having trouble with the code, just tag Pinkfresh. Okay, now remember, these stencils are going to look like the results are kind of blobby. Bear with me. I'll show you how they're going to look good in a moment. Okay, now this one here, I think I will do like orchid colors. And I don't exactly have an orchid ink from Pinkfresh, but I'll make it work. I'll figure it out. I want to match this color of cardstock. I want this color of cardstock, or color of flowers. That cardstock color is mulberry from Spellbinders. So I'm aiming for flowers that are in that family. And notice, see the 3 little triangles? The stencils line up with that every time. And that's one of the things I like that Pinkfresh does, is the stencils, these stencil and die combos, oh, I've messed these all up. Hold on. The stencil and die combos, have that little triangle that you line up the stencils and the dies, and it helps to cut it out, which you'll see me do in a moment. Okay, so I want to do like this orchidy color, but I don't really have that color, so I'm going to kind of blend some together and try to do the best I can. All right. What? Oh, Kelly. Kelly, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Kelly, and thank you for the super chat. That's very kind of you. Happy birthday. I will think of you on your birthday tomorrow. So this is stencil number 3, and I'll do Sparkling Rose first. Actually, yeah, I'm going to make these kind of bold. Now you could do each of these flowers a different color. I mean, there are so many things you could do. What are those? Oh, I see. There are many different ways you can use these stencils, do like a rainbow of colors. Again, I'm just doing something pretty quick here. Now that is way too bright, so I'm going to come in with a little bit of Candy Violet. This is a great color. Let me show you what it is, which is very close. So I'm going to use quite a bit of this. We'll do Candy Violet on those. I'm going to leave the tips of my flowers that bright Sparkling Rose. Come in with a good amount of this. So most of the flower will be this Candy Violet color. And bear with me, these are going to look not so great at this moment, but they'll get better, I promise. And then just a little bit of the Regal Kiss, which is dark, 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 really at the base of those. So this is going to give me like a little bit of high contrast at the base. A little bit of shading there. Okay, so see what we got going on? That's going to look good together. And then the last stencil here, line up those triangles. Doop-a-doo. Let's do the same colors, but just kind of move them around. I'll do the Candy Violet on these little buds or whatever. Then Regal Kiss on these details. Mike, what other things are there going on here? Any other questions? Okay. There we go. Look at that. Oh, I love those colors. Okay. Now, I haven't done the flowers on this one. I'm going to come back to that for our next card if I get to that one. I want to do this one first. So this looks it looks cool. The colors are great, right? But there's not much detail to them. Let me show you why I like these Pinkfresh stencil and die sets. And I've used many in the past. I'm going to take the die, and there are triangle holes in the die. And I line them up with the triangles that we inked with the stencils. So watch, you'll be able to see the triangles? Here, here, and here. I'll be able to line them up with the triangles I inked. And remember how the images are kind of big and chunky looking? That makes it forgiving. You don't have to line it up perfectly. But see, lined up, lined up, lined up. The white gel pen that you saw me use is It's actually a white acrylic pen from Altenew. It's in their acrylic marker sets. They have colorful acrylic marker sets, volume 1 and volume 2. And both of those sets actually have a white in it. And it works really well. So a white acrylic marker, but you could use a white gel pen if you wanted. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna run this through twice. Oh, I can see I let it shift. Oops. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Oh, I wasn't gonna cut this out. Dang it. I'll show you what they look like cut out. And then I'll do the other one. Okay. So you can see it shifted, but that's okay. There's enough forgiveness there. So look at this. Look what you end up with. Pop the little bits out. Hang on. I didn't mean to cut it for this particular card, but look at that. See? And it not only does it cut it out nicely, but it adds like the details pressed in. Yeah, the triangles work really well. I should have taped it. This is old tape. But look at how detailed that is. So there's no white trim on them. Now, for my particular card, I didn't want to cut it out. But now you can see what they look like cut out. And I actually can use these on one of my next cards. Okay, so I'm going to save these. Hold on. Get my craft stacks out. Let me finish the other because I messed it up. So where's the other half? I just had it. Mike, where'd I put it? Mike?
Yes.
Help. He just laughs at me. Here it is. Okay. He's so helpful. All right, let's do that again. Drink. So for the card I'm doing, I'm not cutting it out. And I shouldn't have cut it out. But now you see what it looks like if you do cut it out. Sorry about that. So you're supposed to cut it out. I mean, that's how the product is designed to work. So that you end up with die cuts that are inked and there's no white trim. Let me just make sure I liked how those looked. I did like how they looked. Okay, so I'm just doing the same thing I did before. Sparkling rose. And then we need some of the candy violet. Were there questions, Mike?
I think you're pretty good.
Pretty good?
Oh, what size glass mat?
Oh, what size glass mat do I use? I use the biggest one that'll fit. I recommend getting, yeah, it is a force of habit. I recommend using the biggest glass mat that you can fit on your desk. So measure what you have, like the room you have, and that's what I would go with. The one I have here is like 36 maybe by like 24, something like that, whatever's close to that. All right. Yeah, you want to go with the biggest you can have. I think I have bigger ones over in the other spots in my craft room. And I have some of the smaller ones. Like I have a desk upstairs that Lila and I will craft by each other in. And on those desks, I even put one. So I got the biggest size that would fit on that, which is much smaller than this. But you might as well. It covers your work surface, and they're easy to clean. Highly recommend the Glassboard Studios mats. They are easy to clean. They're smooth. The grid line is under the glass. They're magnetic. I really happy with them. I've used different surfaces over the years. In fact, I used to get like a piece of glass, tempered glass cut to fit my desk because this kind of thing wasn't available at the time. It's very handy now. Okay, so this is the exact same thing I did before. Last time I took it, I lined it up and I cut it out. Lined up the triangles and cut it out. This time I'm not. Instead, I have a piece of cardstock here. This is 4.5 by 5 3/4. It's just a little bit bigger than an A2 panel. You could do regular A2 panel if you want. And I cut the background from the center of it. Again, this is 4.5 by 5 3/4. I just cut that out. Now watch. If I take this negative space and line it up, look at how you line up with it. It's like set behind it and lines up nicely. Isn't that pretty? And then you can make this like a shaker window. You can make it a magic changer card. There's a lot that you can do with this. All right. Now that I have this on here, I want this to be darker. Let me see. I might do a darker purple. Yes, those work surfaces are magnetic, which is the big advantage. Yeah, I want darker. The big advantage. This is the Spellbinders Violet cardstock. So I'm going to redo this. I want darker. This I'll cut to 4.5 by 5 3/4. So it's just a 1/4 inch bigger on both sides than a regular A2. It just gives me some more room to work with. All right, so I'm going to cut this. I'm redoing that one. I just think this color will look better. This darker. Isn't that pretty? Yeah, it's magic. So you could either stencil, then use the die to cut them out to get all of these individual little die cuts that you can decorate however you want, right? Or you can do what I'm doing now, where you're putting the stenciled panel behind the negative space. Oh, yeah. Good point. I think Kinnery, that's Kinnery. The triangles do not cut. So watch, see there's a triangle window there to help us line it up like I showed you before, but it doesn't cut the triangle. So I can do this technique. It won't cut a little triangle window. If it did cut the triangle window, I would have to cover it up with something, but it doesn't. So the triangle is just in the metal. It doesn't actually cut. The little triangles don't. So now I have a negative space. Yeah, I like the darker. I wanted like dramatic looking, and this will do it. Now these die cuts I just took out, all of these purple die cuts, I'll save these, and what I'll probably do with them is ink like dark purple at the base and a little white pigment ink at the tips, so you have like a monochromatic little floral images, and then create a background with them. I'm not going to do that right now, but I can save those. So now see how this is really impactful. The dark, and there's no white trim. All right, now this piece you could stamp on it, you could use an embossing folder, you could do whatever you want, but I'm going to leave mine flat. All right, now if you look, I know this bothers some people. If you look, you can see the impression the die makes, and you can actually see the impression of the triangle. Not all die cut machines will do that. I'm using the Empress, which has a magnetic mat, which has a little give. And so it'll often leave that little halo. I don't mind it, but in this case, I don't really want it because those triangles are impressed. So what I like to do, this is how you get rid of all those little extra things or the dots that sometimes your dies make. Put them in between cutting plates. In this case, I have a metal shim and a magnetic mat. This is smooth. This is smooth. No dye in there. I just put my cardstock in and run it through. It's the same sandwich you would use if you were die cutting, except there's no dye. I'm just flattening that out, and it'll take those little bumps away. Yeah, Gina's machine won't do those little bumps. The Platinum doesn't do those little bumps. This one does because of the magnetic mat, but now they're gone, okay? So if you like to flatten out the little dots or something like that, there's your little trick. Yes, you could dry emboss. You can dry emboss that, do whatever you want, but I'm going to go with this. Yeah, okay, let me show you. I'll show you. I don't know. Yeah, I'll do it. If you want to dry emboss the details of the die onto your stenciled piece, you can. So if you look at the die, see how there's all those detail lines? I don't have those in this because I'm not cutting them out. So what you can do is line up the stencil. If you want to put those impressions in of those little lines, line up the line up the die. So I'm lining up the triangles. Let me put some tape on here. So I'm lined up my triangles I'm not cutting this time. I'm making an impression instead. All right, this is key. Before you saw me line it up and cut it, this time I'm making an impression. And the way you make an impression is you use a flexible embossing mat. All die cut machines either come with one or have one available for purchase. Best tool you can have, and that is this flexible mat. My Platinum came with it. So I'm following the sandwich recommended for using the embossing mat. So you got the flexible mat, got my cardstock with all the stenciling and the die on top. And then I'll run this through my die cut machine. And what's going to happen is because we have that flexible embossing mat, the die will make an impression, but it won't cut. So we're going to have like the details of the die pressed into our inked flowers and leaves. Let me take this off. Hold on. It's beautiful. Hold on. Ooh, I don't want to tear anything. There we go. Look at. So see how now there's the impressions of it on it, which adds interest. Then when you put this on top, look at how pretty that is. Once it's glued down, it'll be pretty. So now we have some impressed details. So you can see on the back, see how it's impressed? All right. All right, now, a good tip, whoever suggested that, for me to show that, that was a good idea. Now I need to glue, well, I don't know. Do you want me to just glue it down? Like I could glue it flat like this, or I could have this lifted up and it be a shaker. I don't know, I really like that. Let me show you what else I wanted to add. Hold on, let me just look at something real quick. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Okay, I could make this a shaker, like an elegant shaker. Mike, should I make it an elegant shaker or not?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yep. Yes, make it elegant shaker.
Flat. Okay, let's take a vote. Elegant shaker or flat. You guys let me know. You can vote in the poll. Mike's putting up a poll. It'll take a moment. In the meantime, I want to create a frame that will go around this. I'll trim all this off, but I want to create a frame. So I have a piece of white cardstock. I cut this to be the same size as my purple, 4.5 by 5 3/4. Okay, so it's the same size-ish, kind of, sort of. Okay, and I will use an oval die. This is an oval die from Pinkfresh. I think it's like the blanket stitch. See, it does these little stitch marks. See the stitch marks? I'm not going to be using those because I'm not using the centerpiece. I just wanted that large oval window. I'm going to line that up at the center of this 4.5 by 5 3/4 inch panel, and I'll run that through my die cut machine. I'm just using the outside area. You guys can vote in the poll on what you want to see. I think I usually can guess. I can guess, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm a big fan of ovals over rectangles. It's a nice change. All right, so you can see the die does this little blanket stitch on the inside edge, or this little stitching pattern. I'm not using that. I'm using this negative space, but I'll save this for something else. All right, so we got that. Then I thought I'd put some texture on this. While you're voting, I want to put some texture on this. I'm going to take a Coverplate die, which I'll show you more about this in a moment. I think I should have time to show you a little bit. Dazzling Diamonds. This is the Dazzling Diamond background die. No, liar. That is not the Dazzling Diamond. Mike, I lied. What is it called? Something Lattice. It is not the Dazzling Diamond. This is the Dazzling Diamond. And this is the Lattice Glow. So this is the Lattice Glow cover plate. This is the Dazzling Diamond Cover Plate. They're sold separately, but you can layer them together. All right, let me show you what they look like, because I've cut them here. So this is the Lattice Glow. Okay, see the Lattice Glow? This is the Dazzling Diamond, and when you put them together, you get this background. And then you can put another thing behind it. And see how cool that is? Isn't that pretty? Now I'm just going to take the Lattice Glow. So this is meant to cut, all right? This die cuts this, but we're going to do that impression again so that I get that Lattice Glow pattern on that white frame. So we're going to do the exact same thing we just did with the floral plate. What was that plate called? The Wild Meadow Wreath. Let me show you. So I again have my flexible embossing mat, and I will take my Lattice Glow cover plate die and put it right at the center. Now, this Lattice Glow cover plate die is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now remember, my white is a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to center it. And I'm going to lay it on there. I'm going to put a little piece of tape on there because I don't want to mess this up. I'm hoping that it'll stay put, okay? And that's on that embossable mat, or that embossing mat. So what's going to happen is this plate won't cut. It will make an impression on that white frame. It's subtle, but it's a great way to use your background dies. See, look, see how that pattern is pressed into that frame. So it just gives it a little bit of interest. That's the Lattice Glow. Because of Taylor Swift getting married, I should do a shaker card. Taylor Swift got married? He's a cutie. What, Travis, what's his name, Travis Kelce? He's from Cincinnati. Okay, what did people vote for? So you can see that impression.
66%.
Sorry, 66%.
66% leave it flat.
Leave it flat, that's what I guessed. I'll leave it flat, okay? So, just to added that detail. So what I'm thinking is I will put this down, then this, and a sentiment in the center. I just think it's elegant. So, let's start. You want this flat. Now, if you were to make this a shaker card, I would put acetate on the back of this, foam tape around the edge, and put it on top. And then have your shaker bits moving freely behind there. So you'd only see the shaker bits in the little floral windows. All right? She's getting married this weekend. So she's not married. Oh, Travis is from Cleveland. Okay, I should have. He played in Cincinnati. Sorry, I got that wrong.
No, not for the Bengals.
No, he played at UC.
Okay.
Did he? Google it. I don't want to lie. I already lied once when I said that was the Dazzling Diamonds plate, and it was actually the Lattice Glow. I want to do a poll. Once you look up, I know he played in Cincinnati. Somebody will say.
Yes.
Yeah, they played in Cincinnati. Yeah, see?
Right
Okay,
there.
here, I'm going to do a poll, because I'm just curious. If I live under a rock, or if many of us do, I want the poll to be, did you know Taylor Swift was getting married this weekend? How do people know? I thought that would be like hidden. So I put glue all over the back, and now I'll lay this on, lining up. And there's some flexibility to that. You don't have to get it just right. And I could have put acetate behind there so that would all be shining. The window would be shining. I should do it, but I'm not going to. I could have put just acetate between, and that way all of my, I want to. Okay, so tell me. Did you do the poll?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay. I want to know if I'm the only one who has been apparently living under a rock. I wonder if Lila knew. She's not really on social media, so I don't know if she even knew. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm going to redo this.
74% new. So you're living under a rock with
74. I don't.
with a few people.
That's not the kind of news I watch. I don't know.
I knew she was
well,
getting
first of all-
married. I didn't know when.
Yeah, I knew she was getting married.
I knew it was soon because it keeps popping up and
Oh, okay.
online.
So I live under a rock. I told you this week I have not been motivated to do anything, but I'm trying to get out of the house more, which is, you know, somebody who works in pajama pants all day is kind of okay. So I'm putting a piece of acetate between because I really wanted to just have a shine to it. So I'm just gluing a piece of acetate to the back of that. I don't know why. I just wanted to. You'll see what it looks like in the end. By the way, you could get the Pinkfresh Studio acetate on sale right now. 20% off. It's the acetate that I use all the time now. It is heat resistant, so you can what is that? You can heat emboss on it. I'm just cutting a little bit off the sides. Okay, so see how it's shiny windows? So if you wanted to make this a shaker window, you'd put foam tape around the outside edge and pop it on there with shaker bits in there. But anyway, putting just a little dry adhesive on the back here and then some liquid adhesive. The liquid adhesive will hold in the long run. The dry adhesive will hold in the short run. Okay, so she's getting married. Do we know where? Since Mike is so...
No, I got no idea.
You have no idea, okay. Well, good for her. Here's the thing. I have a fascination with anybody who has found their gift in... What did I do there? Oh, I messed this up. I am fascinated with anybody who has found like their God-given gift, whether it is gluing paper together or if it is writing amazing songs that make a lot of teenagers and adults very happy, or if it's playing football and giving sports fans like an escape on a Sunday afternoon, whatever. I am obsessed with anybody who shares their gift and does it in a kind way. So I like her. I don't listen to her. I don't know why. I mean, I have no problem with it, but you know, it's being disrupted. New York City's being disrupted. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay. So now look at, the openings are shiny. Was that worth it? I don't know, but I like it. See how it's shiny? I don't know why I did that. Okay, now I'm gonna trim off this excess here and then we can start putting our card together. Now, I use liquid adhesive on acetate. That's gonna take a while to dry. It's gonna take a long time to dry. All right, so you can see it's not sticking right now. It'll stick in the long run. Once I put it all down, press it down, it'll stick. It's just gonna take time to dry because remember, liquid adhesive needs to absorb and it doesn't really absorb onto the acetate because that's not porous. So just give it some time to dry and it'll end up drying. Okay, so look how pretty that is with that shine. See? Okay, now I have my frame and I could pop that sucker up. We'll do a little popping. Let's see, yeah, like that. That's pretty, isn't it? Okay, yeah, the shine adds a little something, doesn't it? Let's get some foam tape. I have my Altenew foam tape. I just like this because it peels off easy. It comes in different thicknesses and widths, and it's nice to have options. This is the 16th inch thick, 1 millimeter, something like that, the thinner, and the 1/4 inch width. So you can see it's pretty thin at the top and the bottom. So there I will put thinner pieces. I'll just cut right down the center. So now is everybody talking about Taylor Swift? They gave $26, Taylor and Travis gave $26 to charities across the US this weekend. Wait, explain that, $26? I got to hear more about that. I have heard that she's very generous, and that's something else I really appreciate. I don't know. And she seems to stay out of trouble. I don't know. I'm just like dancers that can, or artists, or any kind of musician. Anybody who's really good at what they do, I'm just obsessed with that. 26 million. Okay, so they didn't give $26. They gave 26 million. Okay, that's better. Taylor and Travis gave $26 million to charities this weekend. The first message said $26, and I was confused. Like, wow, I'm gonna go give 26 million. Wow, see? Drop in a bucket for a billionaire. Is Taylor Swift a billionaire? Yeah, she's a billionaire.
I don't know, probably.
But hey, you say it's a drop in the bucket. She gives that a lot. So 26 million from both. Okay. Now I'm going to put this on top. It's just, my head's going to get in the way, but it's just giving us like a little nice finish to it. Now let me tell you a few things. First of all, what I just did here, where I put images behind the negative space, remember the cherry blossom that I used back in the beginning? You could do that. You could stamp, it's, I don't know where it is. The cherry blossom image that I used at the beginning, it looks like this. I could have stamped this, colored it all in, and not die cut it. Then use the die to cut from a colored piece of cardstock and do a negative space that I'd lay over this. Okay? So this technique where you put the negative space over it, I think is really cool. And I really think that would have been nice as a shaker window, but there we got that. Now this, I would just glue this to a 4.5 by 5 3/4 inch card base. Oh, you know, there was something else I thought about doing to this, but I didn't. I think it's stuck down. Yeah, it's stuck down now. I was thinking about behind the white, putting a vellum oval. I like it. Hold on. Yes, Ranger has clear foam tape. It's Simon Hurley's clear foam tape. It's pretty cool. I've been using it off screen, but I hadn't used it on screen because it's always out of stock. And when I use things that are out of stock, people get kind of angered. Yeah, a lot of uses out of the one product. Okay, hold on. I'm doing a lot of card surgery here. Do you guys do card surgery, like where you change your mind? I'm butchering my card. Oh, they got married on 6/26/26. Oh, I don't know, whatever. Who knows? Okay, ignore this tape. I'm destroying my card, but it's gonna be cool in the end, I hope. Let me fix some things. I got to do a little repair. Okay, good enough-ish. I think this will look pretty on the back. So what I did is I took an oval die from Pinkfresh that's slightly smaller than the one I used on the white, and I cut it from a piece of vellum. Okay, then I'll take the vellum and lay it on the back so that there's like a little vellum oval layer on the inside. See? That's cool. If I get it centered. You don't do card surgery. Oh. Oh dear. Negative comments. I hope people are making... Brianna, are they making negative comments about my card or about other discussions? I hope not the card. Okay. So see that little vellum? And now look at that. I like it. Yeah, I tore up my card. Look see it's torn up here? No one will ever see it. And here's the thing. If you give a card to someone and they give it back to you and say, I don't want it, or they say, I noticed it's torn, just never give them another card. Easy as that. Yeah, the clear foam tape holds very well. What did Brian? I missed what. Anyway, I think it's fantastic. If it makes people happy, what the heck? That's what we do here. If you think about it, what we do here is use our gifts to make other people happy, and that's what musicians and football players do. So I respect it all. when you try to do card surgery, it doesn't, if you tear, it's okay. Here's the thing, if you do tear your paper, one of the things you can do is use the paper sander that you see me use a lot to remove inks and stuff. If you tear your paper a little bit of the paper sander will kind of smooth it out. Okay. Oh, there's tape up here already. Let's take this off. Okay, this should be good enough. Man. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, there we go. I rarely go off card topics, but here we go. Okay, so I'm going to put this back on. Sorry, my head's going to go away. But now, see, there are certain things that are worth doing, and that was one of them. So that little vellum halo in there, look how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? And then the acetate over the flowers just gives it a little bit of shine. That's really fun too. You could also use clear packing tape if you wanted to. But there we go. Now for a sentiment, I really like this I love you, and there's a shadow die. But I don't think I want the shadow. Oh, the shadow and vellum, and then the letters on top of it. Let's do that. I'm not going to take the time to add all that because we're running out of time. But let me see here. I think I started cutting some of these. I had more ideas I wanted to show, but I'm not going to have time for them. Okay. Yeah, you can use embellishments to hide the mistakes. So if there's some tearing, I'll just put a little gem on it or whatever. So I think the vellum and then white letters. Or I could use the negative space like that. That would be good too. But here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to try. I've got my vellum die cut. I'm going to put on my sticky mat. I'm going to put the negative space right on top and just lay it there. I will use a magnet to help hold it. Oh, my cloud stuck to it. And now into the openings, I'll glue my little white die cuts for the letters. This is going to be messy and it'll take time to dry, but it'll give you an idea. And I'll just, I'm inlaying the little letters. So this is vellum with this white negative space is just laying there. I'm holding it there with my magnet. And that way I can get the letter, these are individual letters that I can glue down on top. I could have used the negative space together or used the negative space and I wouldn't have to do the inlay or the individual letters glued down, but I like the look of it. Yeah, the colors in the card are I try to change things up, and one of the things I've noticed is y'all say you don't like purple, but you like purple. I know Brianne likes purple, but a lot of people say they don't, but whenever I do a purple card, people like said purple card, so I try to do more purple. I wanted to do this in bright blue, but I thought I'd change things up. So the negative space, that white negative space, is not glued there. It's just being held there for me to glue my little die cuts in. All right, yeah, you could do the negative space in purple with the white letters in the center, absolutely. Lots of options. All right, so let's put this down in the center here. So all the things on this card are 20% off. I just chose things that I've been wanting to use. But one of the things I recommend, Mike, can you put it in the chat? I have a card gallery over on my website. And if you go to the card gallery, you can search by theme, technique, or company. And what you can do is search by Pinkfresh. And all of the Pinkfresh cards that I've done and taken pictures of will show up. So if you've seen like a video that I've done with Pinkfresh products in the past and you're like, oh, maybe I would like to try some of those products now that they're 20% off, you can go and look at those. I have many videos using Pinkfresh products. And as long as they're not in the new category, they'll be on sale. Okay, so here we have, little bit of my purple's hanging out here. I didn't line it up great, but that's okay. Just trim it. This will just get glued onto a white card base. So now, this is going to take some time to dry. I'm going to try taking it off, and it's going to peel off, but let's try. So now I can remove the negative space and leave my little die cut letters behind. Ooh, most of them are staying. I should give it more time, because remember, when you're using liquid adhesive, it takes longer to dry on things like acetate and vellum. So I shouldn't try to take the negative space off so soon, but you know, who's impatient? I messed up the E, so let me fix the E. But there, see how they're spaced out nicely now? All right. I get so anxious and excited and hurried when I craft that a lot of these things are easier if you take your time, but you know, that's not how Jennifer rolls. So look at that. That's cute. Ah, look at that. So now I want to hide my adhesive. So what I'll do is I'll put the liquid adhesive just on the back of where so it's on the, I'm putting this on the vellum side, the back side, just behind where the letters are. You don't need a whole lot. Another thing I could have done was use like a sheet of double-sided adhesive on the back. I'll just put that right there at the center. Look at that. I could also die cut the letters there and have the white show through. There's many different options. Another thing that you can look at over at Pinkfresh are the little glitter drops that they have. They have so many little gems that are fantastic. Where's my little tray? I really like their glitter dots. They have them in colors, but this is the champagne glitter drops. What I like about these is that they're clear gems with colored glitter on the inside of them. So it doesn't rub off, it's nice and sparkly. It's like glitter sparkles for people who don't like glitter. And I could have done these pink. They have pink. I'm just gonna go with it. I'll go with this. All right. So I'm just gonna add some of these here and there, because why not? All right, Mike, are there more questions? I hear you typing away over there.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Mom. Did Lila leave?
Yeah.
All right. If you have questions, let me know.
How the length of the Altenew mini brushes compared to the Pinkfresh mini brushes?
I'll show you. So somebody asked how the length of the Pinkfresh bristles compared to the Altenew. So here is Altenew. Here's Pinkfresh. Pinkfresh has a slightly longer. They used to be really long, but Pinkfresh has redone, and it's a nice working length now. And I also like that the bristles are white. I use my Altenew all the time too. The Pinkfresh is a little bit narrow compared to the Altenew. All right, so it really just depends on what you like to work with. Okay, more questions, Mike?
Oh, sorry, I didn't move that one. What's the
Best acetate.
Best acetate. There are two that I like. I like Pinkfresh heat resistant acetate. That's what I use today and I use often. The reason I like the Pinkfresh is because it comes with like a protective coating on both sides that's easy to peel off, so you know, like it doesn't get scratched up while you're working with it. You just remove that. I like that it's heat resistant, so you can heat emboss with it, and it's very thick, so you can use it for card bases. And you can get the Pinkfresh heat resistant acetate for 20% off today. The other that you'll see me use sometimes, and it's very similar, is the Simon Says Stamp heat resistant acetate. You can heat emboss on it. It's nice and thick. You can make card bases from it. Theirs doesn't come with the coating on both sides, but they're both great. All right, so now I need a card base. I have a lot of pre-made 5x7 card bases, and to save time, I'm just gonna cut it down to be the size of this, which is 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. It's kind of a random size, but that's what I felt worked best with the products I chose. So I'll glue this on here. And then the card, or the envelope I'll use will be an A6 envelope, which is a little bit bigger than an A2, and it'll hold this nicely, or I could put it in a bigger 5x7 envelope. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Okay. Now, remember when I cut these out by accident? I'm going to stick one on the inside. Put it right here. Might as well. Droop, 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 droop. I always forget to put things on the inside because I never know what who I'm gonna give it to, how much I want to write. But I think I'll just do like that. Yeah, clear adhesive foam tape. I don't think I have mine out. I think it's upstairs. I was using it upstairs. Ranger, Simon Hurley has clear foam tape. Here it is right here. Mike, can you add this to the supply list? This is Ranger Simon Hurley clear foam tape. It's super strong. If you have commitment issues, this is not the product for you. It's very strong, but see how it's thick and it's clear. It's fantastic. All right. Do I save things for other projects? How do I store them? I have a few different ways I store things. I have different, it depends because this is my job. Oftentimes it's in craft stacks. By the way, Spellbinders has craft stacks on sale right now. Somebody asked earlier what size craft stacks I use. I use both sizes, the large and the medium. I use both of them. There you go. This could have been a shaker. Yeah, you could have some flowers. Yeah, that's another thing you could do is take some of the flowers and like have them, you know, kind of like peeking out here or around the outside. I'm not going to do that, but that's another option. Let me get an envelope for it. Let's see. Do I have a purple? This might match. And then my other card is, let's take a pink. So I have two here. There we go. This is an A6 envelope from Cards and Pockets. So you can see how that fits. There's all of it. Isn't that fun? Lots of details on there. You definitely could make it simpler by not doing the impression, by not adding the vellum underneath, by not adding the acetate. There are certain things you could skip. But I do like putting that negative space over the florals instead of die cutting them out individually. Other things that you can do is take all your little floral die cuts, put and stack some extra on top and lay them all out in the same pattern using the negative space as a guide. There are so many things you can do with this type of product. That's one of the things I like about Pinkfresh is oftentimes it's like a stamp something, a big image that has lots of individual images. Then you stencil them all and then you die cut them all and you end up with lots of pieces. This is just stenciling and die cutting, you end up with lots of pieces, but an alternative is to put the negative space around it, which I think is always fun to do. Do I have the negative space for this one? I'm going digging in my trash. Like here. This is the negative space for this. So pretend this is a colored cardstock. I could just lay it on top of here. See? Can you tell that? And then you wouldn't die cut the flowers. And this would be a fun background. You could do the exact same card. Cut this from like pink, have your flowers colored in pink, put that over top and do the exact same card. So the overall card size of this is 4 1/2 by 5 3/4. It's just a 1/4 inch taller and wider than normal. The reason I did that is I wanted that big oval. You could definitely use a slightly smaller oval and make a regular A2 card size. All right, and then this is the first card. Now, I wanted to show you some of the other ideas that I had based on a live I did a few days ago. I did a live with different ways you can do doing different types of window cards. All right. And in it, I used a frame die. I don't have it down here. It's upstairs. I used the same frame die on all of them. So you had these big windows on the front of your cards. I noticed in my stash that the Cottage frames are similar, but they're smaller. Some people wanted smaller windows on their cards from that video. Hopefully Brian or Mike can link to that live in the chat. If you're looking for smaller windows, frames for windows on your cards, the Cottage frames is good. There is a stamp set that does like the details on the frame. Then there are the dies, and you can either cut the outside, the inside, or both to create a little frame. There's sentiments, and there are press plates. And there are even stencils so you can color in the inside. All right, so Cottage frames are nice for windows. And if you liked my window card live, Brianne just put it in the chat, and you want a smaller window, this is a great set. All right, and what I was thinking about doing was using the layers I showed you earlier and do like a window on the front of these layers and have a small image behind it, such as this one. This is the Freshly Picked, and I did some of that stenciling, if I can find it. I won't be able to find it. Oh, here it is. This is the Freshly Picked. So what I could do is I stamped and I stenciled in all of the different images. The reason I like this Freshly Picked is in this image you get different styles. You get some flowers, you get some berries, you get some strawberries, and you get a lemon. So you can color all those in and use the coordinating die to cut them out. And then you have little images that would work nice inside of little windows or whatever you want. Mike, were there examples for the Cottage frames? I think there were some images.
Yeah.
Can you show those? Mm-hmm. All right, so these are those Cottage frames. Isn't that cute? With the Freshly Picked images. I just really like these. These are from the Pinkfresh website. Can you show another one? So those Cottage frames are smaller than the frames that I used in my live the other day, but would work great. And I love this card. Is there another one?
Nope.
Nope, that's it. Okay. So I'm going to use those. This is the Freshly Picked, and I'll show you they work nicely at the center. Yeah, shipping costs these days are killing us as customers and businesses because they have to pay to get the products to them. And then they also eat a lot of the shipping costs of stuff going to you. It's unfortunate, but that's just nothing we can do about it. So look at all these cute little images that you get from that one. And these would fit nicely at the center of one of these frames. All right, so like what I was thinking is, I'll show it to you. This is the Dazzling Diamonds and the Lattice Glow, all right? And see how they layer together nicely? And what you can do is use your Cottage frames to make like a little window there that shows to the inside and put a little image in the center. I want to do it. Sorry, Mike. I want to make this. It won't be long. I won't complete it completely. So these are the two of the four, okay, hold on. There are 4 different shaped frames. I'm going to use one of them. Remember, you can stamp the frame on it. I'm not going to use a stamp. I'm just using the dies. So what I'll do is from this one, I'm going to center this up. I'm just using the pattern of my lattice there to center that up. I'll put a piece of tape here and here and then run that through. Ooh, and it moved. Hold on, I'll fix it on my die cut machine. All right, here, let's try that again. I'm going to center it up. There and there. Am I the only one not going out in the 1,000,000-degree heat to see fireworks this weekend?
I'm not.
Yeah, it's awful. It's bad. Okay. So this is the smaller inside frame die. Okay. So we have that. Now let's take the smaller and put it onto this background here. I'll just lay it on here. I'm going to lay these together. Pop it into where it goes. Like, let's see, it was like joink, joink. It's like that, I think. So I'll pop it into the space.
We have a Sika here.
Sika's here. We have a Sika here. Hi, Sika. I get to see Sika next week. I get to swim in the ocean with Sika next week. Do we get to swim in the ocean, Mom?
You do.
Okay, good.
I can't swim.
You can't swim. I can't swim. Okay, so now there we have a window through both of those layers. Okay. Let me glue those layers together. This cardstock was too thick to cut the window through both when they were glued together, but you could have tried. All right. Are there any questions while I glue, Mike? I have to stay on topic.
Do you have any videos on quilt cards?
I do not have any videos on quilt cards, I don't think. Do I have videos on quilt cards? I don't think I do.
Brianne found it.
If I have one, Brianne will find it. So here are the two dies. I cut them together from white to get a frame.
I'm gonna rent a van to go move.
When are you doing that? Okay. Put adhesive on the back and put it, and look at how that gives it a nice finished look on the front.
Spent a lot of time moving stuff last night. Put stuff away.
Who did? Oh, okay, there we go. Look at that. Look at that nice window. Now, let's see how we're going to turn this into a card. Let's see. I'm going to take some white cardstock. Let's do, no, I don't want it white on the inside. I want it to be that light blue. By the way, the two colors of cardstock I'm using are Concord and Ninth. We have Bluebell and Capri. This is the Bluebell. I'm going to cut a piece to be 5.5 by 4.5. 5.5 by 4.5. We're going to pray this works because I didn't try it ahead of time. Doobie-doo. Doo. 5.5 by 4.5. I'm going to score a 1/4 inch from the edge. I don't know where my good score tool is. 1/4 inch from the edge, score, and just fold that back. Okay. So that was 5.5 by 4.5, and I did a 1/4 inch fold. So now when this is folded over, it's 4.25 inches wide. Now I'll put glue on that flap. Make sure your glue is something you trust. And then this, which is see-through. Yeah, I'm going to do this. No. Do I want white on the back? I don't know if I want white showing through, if I want it to be solid. Okay, if you want it to be see-through, let me show you what you could do. I'm going to take it apart then. You glue that down, and now see how it's see-through on the front? Actually, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to do that. So now see how pretty blue that is? What I'm going to do is make another card that folds out here so it's a tri-fold. But by doing that, see that little flap is glued there? And so all of those holes are open. You can see through it. And you see the bluebell on the inside. White would be pretty too. Yeah, you could put acetate on there. There's a lot you can do. A lot of different things. White would be good too. I'll switch to white. No, yep, I'm gonna switch to white. Card surgery, see I'm tearing it. No one will ever know, except you guys. See, nobody will see that. Let me redo that. Let me get some white. Cut it again to 5.5 by 4.25. and score 1 inch from the edge, or 1/4 inch from the edge. So I'm just redoing that piece, and we'll glue it to the back. Yeah, the blue is pretty. Yes, happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you stay cool. Okay, now on this flap, liquid adhesive, and put that front on it. So now it's see-through and you can see the white to the inside. See how you can see white? I'm gonna add a card in there too. See, now you've got that white showing through. Okay. Put something heavy on there while it dries. Hold on. That paper's tender because I've been tearing it apart. Put a magnet there and a magnet there. All right, so now I want to do a little mini card for the inside. So it's like a tri-fold. So this will open this way and then the inside will open the other way. So I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. Now to make it go on the inside, I'm just going to cut a little bit off the edge, just a little, just a hair. It'll make it fit in there better. So now I'll take this card, flip it, and put it on the inside so it folds this way. Okay? So I'll put adhesive on the back of this. So this is a card, but I'm going to rotate it and put it on the inside. So now it's like a tri-fold. Okay, so Mike's number is low. Mike is diabetic and he just got a notification. Okay, so see how there's a window and you can write in there. See? But I want a little purple behind there because it'll look good. Let's put a little purple in there. Does that make sense? Yeah, the white shows through better. You're right. White glitter paper would be nice in there too. But this will get glued right in here. See? Maybe, I think maybe the darker blue. I don't know. We'll just go with this for now. And then I can take like my blueberries or my little tulipy thingy or the lemon. Put it right in there. So when you open it up, you'll see that there, right? And I would put right here, stamp and die cut. There's like a sentiment that says, sweetest thanks, like that. I would stamp and die cut it on white and put it right there. And you can just have whatever image you want in there. I love this, strawberries. This would be neat if I did all blue or all reds. It actually looks good on the blues too. Might look good there too. So you could make a bunch of the backgrounds with different colors and put all these different images in there, or whatever images you want. But I like this one because it had a lot of options. But that way, when it's closed, you see your image. And when you open it, you see it too. And then you open it again, and that's your personal message. All right? I'm not going to finish that because I've run out of time. Yeah, white glitter paper. I don't know where it went. I had it out. White glitter paper on that inside is really nice because it shows through. Pinkfresh has great glitter paper, by the way. Their champagne glitter paper is one of my favorites. Here's some white glitter paper. You could put that in here so it shows when it's closed, that glitter paper shows through those little holes. Silver foil would be beautiful. Yeah, there's lots of options. But on this one, I would probably stamp the frame. So it'd be on that inside one. And I would make it line up and then put an image in the center with the sentiment underneath. Isn't that fun? Just another way to do shaker windows. So, or window cards. The live that I did a few days ago showed many ways to make unique window cards. And this is just another version with a smaller window. What is the name of the color cardstock I'm using? The darker is Capri, the lighter is Bluebell, and they're from Concord and 9th. All right, so these little images here are the freshly picked, and the frames are the Cottage frames. And I'll finish this off tomorrow morning. And then the background, this one is the Dazzling Diamonds, and this one is the Lattice Glow. Yeah, and they work together or separately. This one I showed embossed earlier. This one looks really cool embossed, and then put this die cut over it. So many different ways you can use those together. Yes. Yeah, Concord and 9th cardstocks do die cut very nicely. So there we go. This one's not done, but you get the gist. And then other two. This is the big mama fold out one from earlier. There we go. All right, there we go. Giveaway. I know what it is because I have 2 of a set. This one. Let me give this away. I have 2 of this set by accident. It's the Darling District. It is what I used for this. This includes the stamp set, the press plates, the stencils, and the dies. Okay, so that's the Darling District. That's what I used on this card. And if you want to be eligible to win this, you just leave a comment in the chat. If you have been leaving a comment in the chat, you're good. And in a few minutes, Mike will pick a winner. So that's the giveaway. Wanted to give you some time to do that. The Cottage frame, somebody wanted to see that. This is what it looks like. So there's some nice sentiments in there too. There is a stencil that you can use as a mask for the inside. There are press plates that you could use instead of the stamps. And then there's the dies that cut the inside and the outside. And it's nice to have them separate so you can use them together or separate. So that's a Cottage frame. I'll be using that one again. A couple of those, that and the freshly picked and the Cheerful Blossoms, I just overlooked in the past, and I'm glad I found. I actually like the red there. I'm surprised, but I like the red there. I thought they'll yellow it, but I think needs more detail. This is where Jennifer overthinks. That's pretty too. Anyway, lots of options. I also have some of those leftover flowers from earlier. These Cheerful Blossoms, I don't know where they are, but those would look nice in the window too. And these, if they were the right color, would be pretty. Anyway, so it's a nice design for a lot of different products. Okay, so a good, just a little reminder, you get 20% off site-wide at Pinkfresh Studio. It only excludes gift cards and new products and inks. Reason it excludes inks is inks are already 25% off, okay? So the Pinkfresh inks and re-inkers and ink cubes are 25% off. There is also, if you use my code, in addition to that 20% off, you get get 2 free blending brushes. Now please note that the 2 free blending brushes will not show up in your cart. They will just add them as they pack the orders. Okay, so if you use my code, you get 20% off and you get 1 of each blending brush for free. Okay, very generous. Thank you, Kinnery, for doing this. They also have a clearance section that's worth looking at. And they do also have the, can you show that one where it's like you get the stencil and die free? Like, you can also do this offer. I didn't use this product today, but it's such a great one. If you buy the Modern Botanicals press plate, you get the stencils and the die for free. The code and all the deals are in the YouTube description below, right under special offers. It is J. McGuire. And you know what I'm going to do while Mike picks winners? Jody from Pinkfresh sent me a bunch. What? A bunch. Do you need more time?
No.
Okay. What was wrong?
Nothing. Simon Hurley's here too.
Oh, Simon, I was just talking about your tape. Jody from Pinkfresh sent me all of these cards. Look at all of these cards. And I love, oh, Heather, thank you. I appreciate that. I love showing other people's cards. I think Jody made all these from Pinkfresh, but look at all these. I just want to show you, 'cause she sent me these to show. This one, all of this is Pinkfresh product. Look at what she did. She die cut the die that's used for the big floral. She also die cut from glitter paper and offset it so you get that sparkly trim. Look at that. That's amazing. Yes, one. Then look at this one. This is one of those stencil and die duo packs or bundles where you stencil up and then you line up the triangles and you use the die to cut it out, like I used for the Wild Meadow wreath. That's how this was created without the white trim. And then she put it on black. Jody, did you make all these cards? And then there's some little silver splatter in the background. I showed you this one before. This is the Darling Districts. I love the night look of it. This is from the same collection as the Darling Districts. It's the shoe. I don't know what it's called, but look at that. She did an embossing mat with a cover plate on the background. All of these are on the Pinkfresh website. All of them. All of these are on the Pinkfresh website. So you can find them there. Oh, I love this. Did she, Mike, you have to tell me if Jody said she made them all. Look at this. So this is one of those where you stamp, you stencil them, and then you use a big die to cut them out, and you have all these individual die cuts. She did that, but then also used the negative space to line them back up so that they were all popped up in a beautiful pattern covering the background. These are all made by Jody Morrow. She's wonderful. Thank you, Jody, for sending these for me to share. She works for Pinkfresh, and she is a rock star. Isn't that fun? I love this. This was one of the other examples I was going to do today. This one's beautiful. The blending on this, and then look at that oval. Like, it's quite like the oval I used earlier. But what a difference it made to do that light blend of waterfall ink from the top to white at the bottom. And to get that seamless blend, you use those magic brushes, those big 1-inch brushes from Pinkfresh. It's just beautiful. And that is all foiled because press plates you can foil with on your glimmer machine. Here's another where she did offset, but this time with dark gray cardstock, so it gives kind of a shadow look. That's beautiful. She's good at blending. Wow. This one's a shaker card with little tickets in it and little gemstones. And that jar, you could put other things in it too. That's cute. Everything's better when it's with you. Here's the same image from before. This is gold foiled outline. This is black. And it's a shaker. And I love how she offsets with the black and it gives that dramatic look. That's pretty too. Here we have from their stitching line, the little buttons, and then she wrapped real thread around this. I love that. This is neat, the postage, and she put it like off kilter, which is great. And then you can see the flowers are popped up. That's a good card. We have some butterflies. She used a cover plate here and did inking over it for texture and put a butterfly on the inside. Here's another with that same image from before. Oh, this one's gorgeous. And there's a lattice in there. Wow, that's a keeper. This one's neat. I thought about using this grid plate. There are stencils that go with it. I'll show it to you. It's this refined grid cover plate, and there are stencils that are designed to fill in those squares. It gives you like a quilted look. Oh shoot. I'm never going to find it. But there's There's stencils that line up. So the refined grid builder stencils allow you to put little hearts into the pattern, little like quilty kind of pattern, and then little squares. But what she did is she just used another stencil set and then cut from this just to give a really cool look. There's the perfume bottle. She did vellum over this background so that it kind of muted it down, but still matched. This one's beautiful. This is my favorite of the bunch. That is that Pinkfresh is known for their washi tape. And you put the washi tape down onto white cardstock and then use the coordinating die to cut it out. And that's what these images are. And they have the gold outline and they're really quick and easy to add to your card. And then she just stamps some gray image in the background. And that gold glitter cardstock line just makes it pop. All right, I'm just gonna show a few more of these because, oh, look at these. these. Because we're running out of time. Ooh, I like this one. Look at that. Jody, these are amazing. This one's great with the lattice behind the thanks. I've used that thanks before. I like her card better. Ooh, purple shadow there. She rocks that lattice. That's beautiful. She's also good at shakers. There's more of the lattice behind some vellum. Gorgeous. Or the stitching. Thank you, Jody. Now, all of these cards are on the Pinkfresh website. I just like to share other people's cards. So thank you, Jody, for sending those. Okay, Mike, do you have a winner? Because we got to go eat. This live started late, and yeah. The winner of all of the Darling District collection is
Rhonda Dougal.
Rhonda Dougal.
I will pin and paste to the message.
Rhonda, you are the winner. Your name is pinned up there at the top. Just go to my website and through Contact Me, send me your address and we'll get this sent out to you. Jody, do you have a YouTube channel? I don't know if she does or not. I'm guessing she has an Instagram. Jody, if you have all of that, like where you share your cards, put that in the chat so people can find you. But a lot of what she makes is over at Pinkfresh. All right. There we go. Okay, so that's what I have for you today. Reminder that all of the deal info is under special offers in the YouTube description below. And go to my sales page over at my on my blog. If you go to the sales page, it's in the YouTube description too. There are lots of big sales this weekend. Really great sales that are worth checking out. All right. I think that's it. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a happy 4th of July. Take care.